Welcome everyone, and this is the first video in the Python series, Python for Data Science series. So now we'll be using this. This is a script we'll be learning about today, and how I got here is by I have Python installed and I have Anaconda installed. So going to Anaconda from your start button, you see Jupyter Notebook. Now, I already have it on my taskbar, which I would encourage everyone to do that as well. And doing that, you just right-click on Jupyter here and go to More and then Pin to Taskbar. All right, so once you do that, you don't have to come here every time to start your Jupyter Notebook. All right, so you can always start it from here. So I click this part, my Jupyter from here, and it brought me here. So here you can, is either your Jupyter starts a browser by default, and if it does, it will bring you here, the home page. All right, and in the home page, you can see everything on your system. You can see your desktop, your documents, and everything. You'll see it here. All right. Now, if it does not start itself by default, you can copy either this link, this address, or the second one. You copy it and paste it in any browser. It could be Chrome, it could be, what's this one called? This Edge, Microsoft browser. It can be this. So once you put it here in the address bar, then you can run it. So because I already have it here, so I'm not going to run it. All right. So now after this class, I'm going to be dropping the scripts inside the group. And now once I drop it, you download it and keep it somewhere. Open a folder and keep it there. You can put it in downloads. All right. Now, just like mine too, it's in downloads. Now, so to navigate to where you have to open this, you go to from your home, then you go to downloads. So I saved mine in Uniben Quarterly Python. Open this and you can see Python class 1. So Python class 1 is already opened here. You can see it's green. So it says running 2 days ago. All right. And so this is Python class 1. If you want to double click it, then it brings you here. Yeah, you can interact with the interface. All right. Now, okay. So let's start what we are here to do. All right. So what is Python? Python is a programming language used in data analytics, AI, web development, and more. It has libraries like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, and a whole lot of them. So if you are using Jupyter or you are using Google Colab, a lot of these platforms have most of data science libraries pre-installed. What the data science libraries is about, you learn in the next lesson, in the next class. All right. So now that this is Python, it's a programming language used in data analytics. It's used in web development, AI, and more. Yeah. Used by DevOps, it applies everywhere. It's a programming language and it applies everywhere. All right. Now that's about Python. Now, using this Jupyter interface, we'll be interacting with two types of cells. All right, two types of cells basically. We have the Markdown. The one I am presently on is a Markdown. So this is a cell. This is just joining us. Who's my okay. All right. So this is a cell and this is a cell. These are different cells, or they are called chunks. You can call them chunk as well. So now I said there are different types of cells or chunks. This is called Markdown. You can see it here. It's called Markdown. And this is called code. So this is a code chunk, and this is a Markdown chunk. Now, what's the difference between a Markdown and a code chunk? A Markdown chunk, you use it to write. It's like your Microsoft Word, but with HTML formatting. If you've ever learned HTML, it's useful here. All right, so with HTML formatting now. Here, if I edit this, and this is what was written originally. So first, if I run it, Control Enter, you can see we have a bold and big heading, and the others are also bold, but they are not as big as the what is Python. All right, so I double click to edit, so you see how it was written. There are hashtags. One hashtag implies the biggest heading. All right, so 2 hashtags. This is a heading. All right, so you would see it's smaller than, when we run it, you see it's smaller than the first one. Then we have 3 hashtags, we have 4 hashtags. All right, now, so if I run it, you see this is the biggest, followed by the second one, followed by the third one, and this is the smallest. All right, so it depends on what you want to do or how you want your report to get structured. You use the headings. If you want to use first heading throughout, you use it. If you want to use the second heading throughout, or most times we use the second heading as a subheading to the first one. Yeah, so if you are discussing what is Python, and under what is Python, you want to discuss types of libraries, then you use 2 or 3 to show that it's a subheading to what is Python. All right, so to run it, you can always run here. You can click the run button, or you Control Enter to run. You will most times not see me come here to run it. I would always be using Control and Enter. If you are using Mac, that should be Command and Enter. All right. So another heading, another editing in Markdown is the star. The star or the asterisk. So like we have in WhatsApp. Yeah, in WhatsApp, double asterisk is bold or either single. I know one of them is. Then in Python, 1 asterisk means italicize this text or this sentence. Then we have hyphen to indent lists. And then we have sub item 1. Then to do a link, you write your text, whatever text you want to embed the link into, you write it into a square bracket. Then you put your link into this into the normal bracket, normal parentheses. All right, so exactly. So if I run this, I'm going to run this, and you can see link text. The actual link did not appear after I ran it. So if I double click it again, I've edited it. So you can see the link is here, then the text is here. So it could be anything, Python for data science. But don't forget, this is a markdown cell. Now, what's the use of this? Is because in data science, you most likely would want to write a report. After your analysis, you want to write a report. So your report should be well structured. These are the things we use, and many more, to structure the reports. So Control Enter, you can see Python for data science. It becomes a link that can be clicked on. All right. So now let's go to code cells, and we are starting Python. We are starting to program. All right. So now code cells allow you to write and execute Python code. Now, this is a code. The first two lines are called comments or instructions. It is very, very important that as much as possible, as much as you can, you write comments. Comments, you use it to explain your codes. Why do we do that? Because sometimes you write a code and you would not even use it. I mean, you will not go back to it until 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 7 years time. So by that time, you might have become better or forgotten what you have done. So a comment or instruction allows you to remember what you are doing. So code cells allow you to write. So for comments, comments are lines that are written in the code chunk that will not, Python will not run it. Why? Because it has seen an hashtag in front of it. Remember, this is a code chunk. For Markdown chunk, the hashtag indicates headings. One hashtag indicates the biggest heading, two, a smaller one, and so on. All right. While in code chunk or in code cell, we have hashtags for comments. So Python knows that what we are telling Python is this line is not a code, it is a comment, so skip it. So if I should run this now, it's going to skip this first line, it's going to skip this second line, then it will run this because it's a code, it is not a comment. All right, so I'm going to run this now. Print hello Damilola. So if I should run this, so this hashtag here means that Python is running, like it's running this code. This is not supposed to be a big deal, so I don't know why it's taking a lot of time. Usually I don't use, I use Chrome. Chrome is quite faster. I might just switch to Chrome. Okay, this is taking a lot of time. Let me switch to Chrome. Oh, okay, I've copied. So what I said the other time, you can copy this and paste it here. Yep, so this is better. Downloads and then Uniben here. All right, so let me just close this. Yeah, so this has finished running, but it's too slow, so I'm switching to Chrome. All right, so the same things I've said here, then I'm going to run hello Damilola. So you see the difference. Chrome is faster. All right, now a variable. So this is a code chunk or a code cell. You can run our codes here. All right, so what the print function does is that it allows, it returns whatever. So if I should write print 445, Control Enter 45. Now the difference between 45 and what was there before, let me do Control Z, is that hello Damilola is a text, is a string. So every string, every text should be in quotes. Always remember that. Every string, every text in your code should be quoted. All right, so that is the difference. But if it were number, I don't have to quote number, so it would just run like that. Now, a variable, what is a variable? A variable is used to store data in memory. It can be assigned any value, all right? So in Python, we assign values to variables, or sometimes we call them objects, all right? So this is an object. So we say Python is an object-oriented language, all right? So I can type that here. Python is an object-oriented language. Now, I can type straight into it without quotes, without comments, because it's a markdown chunk. You can see it here. It's a markdown chunk. So if I run it, it will run. So, but I want to copy it first. All right. Then run. So there is no big deal. So I'm coming back here. I want to add a new cell. So this new cell by default is a code chunk. If I paste what I have written here directly into this and I run it, it's going to give me error because it is not a code. All right, it's not a code. You can see is, it says it doesn't understand its invalid syntax. So now to delete any code, any chunk, any cell, click on the tick part by the left, then press D twice. It's a shortcut. I find it easier to do. All right, so here what we are doing here is variable. So to assign something to an object or to a variable, so I'll be using it interchangeably, object or variable. All right, so to assign anything to an object, we use the equal to sign. All right, so 5 equals x, or x equals 5. All right, so it means that we are assigning x to 5. That means that every time we type x in Python, then it means 5. Now again, we are assigning Damilola to name. All right, okay, this is a repetition. And then age, we are assigning to 15. Then print x, print name plus is string, blah, blah, blah. All right, so don't be, I'm just going to turn this into a comment. I'm not going to run it so that it won't be complicated. So in this cell, what we are doing is we are assigning 5 to x, we are assigning Damilola to name, and we are assigning 15 to age. So I'm going to run this by pressing the run button here. Nothing happens because we have not called it. Something would have happened if I had not made this a comment by putting the hashtag here. But I want to call it one after the other so that you understand what we've done. Now, remember we have assigned 5 to x. If I type x, I don't have to type 5 again. So once I type x and I run it, you can see the outcome is 5. If I type name and I run it, then the outcome becomes Damilola. Then so it becomes, the question is, the other time when we typed a string, it gave us an error. How come we typed a string here called name inside a code chunk and it was not error, it gave us an output? That's because this, according to this Python, this session that we are, is no longer a text. It has become an object, a variable. So once we call it, because we have assigned something to it, so once we call it, it brings whatever we have assigned to it. Another question is that the way I've been doing it before, I've been writing print. Then, because I said every, okay, no, I don't have to put it inside quotes because it's an object. All right, so print name, Control Enter, you can see it's Damilola again. Now, in Python, earlier versions of Python, when we were learning, you have to use print. But Python 3.0 came and print is no longer necessary until you need it. All right, so that, again, if we call age, now look at this. I'm going to write small letter AGE and run it. I have error because age is not defined. Now, that shows us that Python is case sensitive. All right, so I'm going to write that here as a comment. Python is case sensitive. Now, I hope you are getting this, all right, because I'm trying to refresh your memory about comments and using text in Markdown. Now, Python is case sensitive. So whatever you've done, age has to be capital letter A. Don't forget. So for me, I prefer to always use my objects in small letters. I don't use capital letters, but it's up to everybody to decide what they want to use. So if I round this now, my age is 15. All right. Now, so I have explained print X. Now you can make print a little bit more sophisticated. Before the end of this video, before the end of this lesson, you would still see how to do more complex things with print. All right. So now this print, now there's something called concatenate. So we are concatenating things into prints. Concatenate simply means join. All right. So now name, remember name is Damilola. The plus sign is the concatenation sign. Is, if you look at the is, there's a space before the is and there's a space after, and then it is quoted. So it is a string that says print it verbally. Whatever is here. So it's going to print name Damilola for name, then space before is, space after is, then again concatenate the string age here. Damilola is age plus years old. So the years old has space before and space after. So let's run this and see what we have. So we have Damilola is 15 years. Remember the age is 15. So Damilola is 15 years old. So it's print can be used in dynamic ways like that. There are still other ways we can use print. All right. Now, data types. Data types is fundamental for all forms of all forms of platform in data science. Whether you are doing Excel, you learn about data types. Whether you are doing R, anything, you learn about data types. All right. So we have numeric, we have integer. Integer is without decimal points. So that we have numeric, we have string, and we have Boolean. So under numeric, we have integer and float. Integer is like the age that we've written here, 15, and the X that we've written here, 5. They don't have decimal points. While floats have decimal point, 5.4, or when you have financial figures, you are measuring weights, you are measuring heights, and so on. You have in decimal points. Then we have string. All right. So we have string. String are characters. While I have been explaining earlier, you must have heard me say it is string. So they are characters used to represent text. They are usually written in single, double, blah, 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 triple, quotes. I've explained, using of. So whenever you are using single quotes to start a string, make sure you end it with single quotes. If you are using double quotes to start a string, end it with double quotes. Strings can contain numbers, space, and symbols. In days of computer science, we used to call it, I think, alphanumeric variables. All right, they can contain numbers, they can contain symbols, they can contain alphabets. All right. Then we have the Boolean, true or false. We'll learn about all these three today. All right. So before we go ahead, let me pause a little bit and go to the meeting page and probably the WhatsApp to see if there are any questions. All right. No questions. Okay. So you can always drop questions here. What about if we are using Google Colab? Because I don't understand. What about us using phone or tablet? All right. Let me go back. So if you are using Google Colab, probably the next class will be done with Google Colab, but it's the same thing. So for Google Colab, the only difference is that it's the same code that you write. The only difference is that instead of coming up here to do run, there is a run beside here to run it. So if you are using any other app, there would be a way to run it too. There will be a way to run it too. And then to add, you would see that Google will use Google Colab next week. So we'll be interchanging. We'll use Google Colab. So it's the same logic for everything. The codes are the same. It's just, in case you're using something from your phone, they might not put their own run here. They might put it somewhere else, maybe here, or you just press enter on your phone. All right. So now to look at data type that something is, we already assigned 5 to X. So type, if you type the code type, gives you the type of data. You can see this is integer. Then type age. This is also integer. Now let's let's add something and type. Okay, I'm going to do y equal to. Let me put ys because I don't know if I'm using yl. So ys, my object, I'm calling it ys 3.5. All right. So type ys, like what type of object is ys. If I run this now, it tells me it's float. Remember, floats are objects or data types with decimal. All right. Then name type should be string, str for string. Then age is 15. Then okay. So here, what we did here is to convert this age to string. You remember that str means string. So here we are saying that it converts age to string. So writing type age in string, it returns string. You don't have to bother yourself about that. All right, so y equals 5.4. I've written that before, so that's float. Then yeah, so turning this float 5.4 into integer, it abbreviates it and makes it 5. All right, so now I've explained this before for input and output. Name equal to input, what is your name, print hello plus name. Now what this does, this command called input, what it does is it brings out a box that you can enter your data into. So printing it, whatever data you have entered into will return whatever you've done into. Okay, let me explain. Let me just show you. Showing is better. Now what this input does is that it brings out a box that would collect data from you. Now print would now say, you know, whatever you've given that box, it assigns it to name. So it now says print hello name. So let me just do that now. So what is your name? You know, this is the first code, first line of code that Python just ran. Because of this input, I have this box here. And then what I have here, the text I have here is what is your name? So I'm going to write Tim. My name is Tim. So enter. And I have, then that is when the second line of code now works. Print hello Tim. This is mostly used in, like, if you attended the webinar we did last week Monday. Is it last week Monday or this week? Yeah, it's this week. Yeah. So if you this week, you would see where I was entering a code, although it was used with R. It's something similar. This is the input, that's the command that gives you that box. All right, let me see. It's not be recorded. Yeah, it is recorded. But you know, I'm just going to close that so that I don't get distracted by the group. All right, so because we already mentioned some things in the group, and people are, you know, bringing us back and bringing us back again. Then also saying that it will be recorded, some people would not stay for the class. So what's the point of having a class if you are not staying? All right. Okay, so that's that on data types. Now, the next is data structure, and this is what we are doing for the rest of the class. Data structure, there are 4 types. We have tuple, we have lists, we have dictionary, and we have sets. Tuple, list, dictionary, and sets. All right, so follow closely. And let me say something that it's important for you to be in the class, because by the time you are going through it by yourself, which you have to go through by yourself, you would be recalling what was said in the class. Without the class, well, even if you watch the video, for me, there's no feeling as being there live when it was explained. All right. So So even if you don't get it at first, make sure you just, at least you understand what is being said. Then after the class, you sit down with it. Immediately after this class, I'm going to be dropping this script into the WhatsApp group. All right, so you can start tonight before tomorrow morning. Make sure you interact with it, and there are things to do after. All right, so now what is a tuple? A tuple is an ordered, okay, let me talk about data structure first. Now, data structure is a form, different forms at which your data would come, or different forms at which you'll be presenting your data. All right, so majorly, most times we work in data science, we work with relational data. That's data that comes in tables. But probably, maybe next class or not next class, we'll learn how to create a table. But very soon we'll do that. All right, so before table, we have, table is not the only type of data form that we have. So we have tuple, we have list, we have dictionary, and we have set. All right, so and you see the demonstration of all of this today. So a tuple is an ordered, immutable means unchangeable sequence of items. Tuples are defined by enclosing comma-separated values within parentheses. That's in normal brackets. Now, the first tuple that we are writing, first data form that we are writing is my tuple. Remember, the object is by the left side of the equal to. All right. So my tuple, we have the first object, the first element of that tuple is 1. Remember, we said tuples are defined by enclosing comma-separated values within parameters. So this is the open parameter, open brackets, and then parentheses rather. Then close the parentheses. So inside the tuple, the elements that are there we have 1, we have egg, a string, we have a float 3.9, and we have true, which is a boolean. All right. So if we say print my tuple, it's going to return all of this. So that means that every time we need 1 egg 3.9 true, every time we need it, we don't have to write it over again. What we just need to write is my tuple. Remember, I said it's not compulsory we write print. All right. So you can just say my tuple, then it runs. So you can see 1 egg 3.9 and true. You can access items in a tuple using indexing. So indexing is a form, indexing or selection. Let me call it selection and indexing, because there are two different things. So this is a selection. What we've done here is a selection. So selection is like, okay, give me among these 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, give me just 3.9. All right. Now in selection, this 3.9 is in what position? Normally you would say 3, the third position. But in Python, this first position is in the 0th position. 0th. So Python starts indexing or starts counting by, from 0. So when Python is counting this, it is 0, 1, 2, 3. All right. So although there are 4 elements there, but this is the 0th item, the first item, the second item, and the third item. All right. So now, so indexing allows you to refer to an element at a specific position. The first item is index 0 in Python. Always remember, Python indexes starts from 0, and it goes on. So access the item in index 0. So we want to call the 0th item the index 0, which is 1. So what we do is that object, this object called my tuple, which we have defined here, and then we use the square brackets to select, to index. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what I wanted to say is indexing or selection or indexing, then now you say and slicing. There is slicing. So selection and indexing are the same, just slicing is different thing. All right, so so the 0th position, I run that and it gives me 1. All right. So if I change the 0 to the second position. Remember, this is 0, 1, and 2. If I run it, it gives me 3.9. All right. So now, okay, let me just go on. Another thing is, if I tell it to give me the third one, so it's going to give me true, which is the last one. Now, again, if I start counting from the back, Python has another formula to that. If you start counting from the back, you start counting from -1. You know, there's nothing like -0. So you start counting from -1. So if I tell you to give me the -1 item, you see it is true. The -2 item, that's 3.9, and so on. So -3 is egg. All right, so that's it about indexing in Python. Now, to change the items in index 2, that this is 0, 1, 2. So I want to change this 3.9 to 5. Now, let's see. Like I said, it will give an error because tuples are immutable. Now, remember the definition for tuple. Tuple is an ordered immutable, that's unchangeable, so we cannot change the elements inside the tuple. All right, so so we want to attempt to change it now. My tuple, the second one, change it to be 5. Whatever is in the second position, make it 5.